Hello, artists. Hello, illustrators, I should say. You should have just finished your check for understanding / entrance ticket. We're calling it instead of an exit ticket. Checking your understanding about all things illustration. So the big stamp that I want you to take away from that exit ticket and you're going to be applying to your work is just remember the representation of lighter values. Values means different shades. That the representation of the highlights, like you see here around the staff, is just the openness of the page. It's the part of the page that you just leave empty, while the shadow is created by like just the density of cross lines. So if you see here in his arm, the more lines that are crossed, the darker the value gets. So this is what we call hatching, shading with lines, right? And then cross hatching. Hatching does not have to be perfectly straight to be effective. It just needs to be organized and linear. So we're going to go through today some instructions and just general guided practice on how to kind of correct some of those mistakes. Okay, and just a little friendly reminder, you're just following all of these things on the board. Don't forget, for last 3, you clean up, you pack up, and put your artwork in the box. If it is not in the box, it'll be gone forever. All right, so your goal today is to work asynchronously. That means by yourself, to commit to the process of hatching and cross-hatching in illustration. Why are we doing this? So we can contrast different values in our artwork. You want to be able to look at my example over here. Let me move myself. And notice the areas that are highlighted and the areas that have shadows. Some shadows are built up with more cross-hatching than the other. Some areas you can see are modeled. So, criteria for success. To be successful today, work the compass with integrity, show balance, be productive and present and working. There are consequences to talking while you work because, you're disrupting people around you. So expect that. So please make yourself proud. Make me proud. Work at a zone 0. That's it. Also, we're going to review how we're graded for this 50-point project so we know the difference of what to do to develop mastery and what not to do. That's kind of like beginner's level. And then I do want to have you try to challenge yourself with that spicy option of modeling. It makes your flat shapes look a little bit more three-dimensional. So that could be something cool. I want you to try it. Just try it. And then the big goal to make sure that you have paced yourself and you are not behind for our next studio time together is you have to commit to at least 2/3 of your golden spiral illustration with the hatching and cross-hatching ink. Your grade for today is the entrance ticket, just FYI, that's your grade. Okay, let's go over, and actually I'm going to grab my artwork really quick. All right, let's go over our subject matter. We've already committed to that. We have our golden spiral object. I have this ancient ammonite with all these funky little tentacles. Just makes me happy. My craftsmanship so far, it's looking crisp, clean, and neat. Please make sure that you are, let me move this out of the way. You're not doing careless mark making. Take your time. That's one of the common mistakes in illustration is we get bored and we want to rush. No, man, take your time. Just lose yourself in the practice, if you will. You're going to do a lot of independent silent working today, so treat it almost like a true north, where you just repeat line after line after line. It can be almost meditative. All right, so elements that are highlighted in the yellow, positive things we want to do. We're using lines to hatch and cross hatch, right? I should be able to see different values. So if you look at mine, you can clearly see white, gray, and black. Try to give me 3 values. If you do not attempt hatch or cross hatch, y'all, that's beginner's level. Attempt it. All right, rules of design that make our work look better. Well, asymmetrical balance. So far, I got a lot of dark values up here and it's unbalanced down here. That means I'm going to add some more values here because I don't want it to be unbalanced. I want whatever value is happening at the top be balanced at the bottom, left to right. Okay, that way it's not too heavy on one side. Also, here's the big thing. Follow the rule of contrast, differences. So you see different values. It's not just all empty white. We have white, we have gray, we have black. Of course, hatched and cross-hatched in. How cool does that look? Nice. That's what you're doing today. If you squint, you should be able to see a difference between the light, the medium, and the darker areas. Okay, cool. So live up here. This is the expectation. I know y'all can meet it because you're awesome like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is grab yourself a pen. I'm going to grab a pen too, and we're going to concern ourselves, meaning we're going to focus on like what's the wrong way to hatch or crosshatch, just by correcting mistakes, because we're learning this new process of illustration, hatching and crosshatching with pen. We're going to make mistakes. So we're going to practice the right way, but also be aware of those common mistakes. Progress comes from correcting those mistakes. So we're going to do that today. Grab a pen, meet me in your sketchbook. You can get a fresh page or just like one of your old pages. Just practice. You should be working along with the video now.
It's something you have to do. You know what I mean? Now, if you are, however, doing a finished drawing where you really need to take the time to try to get things right, and you're really concerned with careful rendering, then you will need to not rush your drawings. I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen drawings with shading, especially in pen and ink, with shading like this. And you know what? I can see from the types of strokes that you use.
Do it.
I can know that this person
Rush.
is rushing.
Rush.
You know, you're going too fast. And the thing is with pen and ink, you have to remember that you're using just this point to create all your marks. Okay? So there's a complete difference with making strokes like this.
Slow, steady. Work with the video, y'all. Just like he's doing it, slow and steady.
See? Taking my time.
Take your time.
As opposed to doing like this.
Yeah, rushed. Poor craftsmanship.
You have to practice being patient. Slow yourself down. There are little strategies I used to use. You know, before I really developed my patience and learned to let the drawing naturally develop. Some of the things I used to do is like, I would say, okay, I work on I still do this right now. I work on at least 3 different parts of the drawing. So, for example, if it's a larger drawing, I'll have one area, another area, and then I'll have another area that I work on. And when I get bored with this part, I'll go on this part. When I get bored with this part, I'll go on this part. Another thing I'll do is sometimes I'll say, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes just doing this. Another 5 minutes just doing that. This is not so not just using cross-hatching necessarily, or even not necessarily using pen and ink, but drawing in general. There are parts of your drawing that's going to be boring.
It's true.
If you're doing a drawing where you're covering like an area like this, and it's just going to be, you just have to lay down.
Practice with the video right now, guys.
A series of strokes.
Slow.
It's not going to be that much fun.
It can be boring.
So you have to find a way to lose yourself in the process and not get too caught up with, oh my God, this is taking forever. That's just a natural part of the process, okay? If you're cooking or if you're planting flowers or whatever it is, you can't rush it. You know, whenever the plants bloom, that's when they bloom. However long it takes to cook something, that's how long it takes to cook it. You can't rush it. So drawing is the same way. You have to respect the craft.
Respect the craft. Respect the craftsmanship.
Keep my lines like this.
Take your time, y'all. You got to respect this process. We've used other processes for creating art. This is illustration. This is pen and ink. This is hatching and cross-hatching. So slow down. Work in different areas. All right, kiddos, we are pacing ourselves beautifully. That means you're going to have a big old chunk of studio time to commit to this process of hatching and cross-hatching and illustration in a really beautiful way. Why are we doing this? Because this is an empty contour drawing. We actually want to contrast different values or shades in our artwork. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and start this timer. Awesome. I want you to work with this timer. So keep this video going so that way you can pace yourself for your first loop. Okay, so we have 10 minutes. That says no louder than a zone 2. Whoops, that's supposed to say zone 0. My bad. It is a zone 0. Just continue letting your drawing develop with value. Remember, slow down and work on different parts of your illustration. Once you finish a shape, go to another shape, right? It can be boring just working in the same little section. Balance yourself out. To help us be productive, like we'll take a little break after this loop, go over what we've done, some successes, some things that we need to grow on. And then that should give you enough time to repeat that loop. Awesome. So right now, you're just starting. I like to start on the edge of my shape, and then I just hatch from that edge. You probably hear the other classes working right now. If you want to mute this video so you can work in nice silence, you can. Remember, the lines don't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of flicking them up as I go. See how I'm starting with hatching first? I can stop there, but honestly, I want to build up my value. I'm going to like go for that spicy option of gradually making it a little bit darker by cross hatching in the opposite direction. Okay, so every once in a while, I just kind of stop and I can look back, look at my artwork, kind of look back and see. Squint test. Do you see that gradual change from light to dark, or do you even just see a difference between the empty areas where the white's showing through and then the darker areas where it's gray or maybe even black? I'm not trying to shade anything solid. That's called blending. We're not doing that. We're hatching lines for kind of like a medium gray tone because some of that white paper is showing through. And then cross hatching to develop a darker value. If you're hearing all the side noise going on right now and it's distracting to you, go ahead and mute this video. But just every once in a while, peek up, look at the timer, pace yourself. Are you getting work done? We've been working now for like 4 minutes. You've probably hatched or cross-hatched value in a whole area. Switch it up, go to a different area so that way you don't get bored and just lose yourself in the process. Sometimes I'll just go back and be like, you know what, that's not as dark as I want it to be there. So I just cross-hatch some more. Cross those lines. Take a peek up at the timer, 5 minutes and 21 seconds. Pace yourself with this timer. It's independent work time, so our eyes are on our work. We're actively creating. We're at a zone 0, so we can be productive and not interrupt other people's productivity and process. Every once in a while, kind of shift back, maybe hold your artwork in front of you, squint. Yeah, I like the differences that I'm creating. I see a clear difference between the white highlights kind of grayer tones that have a little bit of a shadow, and then the darker values that appear darker. And I didn't even have to shade anything else in. By the way, if you're wondering, I am not inking over top of my color focal point of that golden ratio. If you have that color focal point, just leave it be. Ink around it. Let that golden ratio be the star. And your value is just the backup dancer, the supporting actor. Just working around it. Okay, look at the timer. 3 minutes and 48 seconds. I can get more work done. My pen has been moving this entire time. Don't even look up. Unless you're looking at your artwork. Okay, getting more work done. Being productive. I'm not trying to use long lines to hatch and cross hatch, just little bitty lines. That's all I need. Look at the timer, 3 minutes. Keep making lines. If you're getting bored in one area, switch to another area. Really just adding value to these different shapes, or maybe you're creating that gradual change in value to make your forms look 3D, not flat shapes, but 3D forms. 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Keep on working. Maybe you go back and notice an area that you're like, oh, I want to push that a little bit darker. I want to add some more cross hatching. Yeah, I see some. Just keep on crossing little lines. It's all good. 2 minutes. Not trying to shade anything in solid. Just creating those beautiful grays. Light, medium, dark. 1 minute, 36 seconds. We are pacing ourselves beautifully right now. I'm getting a lot done because I'm just kind of attacking one little shape at a time. Hopefully you are too. I start with hatching lines, just parallel lines, and then I cross other hatching lines. To make that value darker. Value means shade. 1 minute. Keep at it. Don't stop making parallel and intersecting lines. I'm working into that very last second. Eyes on my work. Actively hatching. Cross hatching. Today's class is all about having a productive, balanced, silent studio time. Let's walk our talk with that, kiddos. Show integrity, 16 seconds. Use your eyes, scrutinize. That means look really closely. All right, you know what means. Sweet. Put that up on your own. I'm going to stop my sharing. I want you to see what I have done. Okay, cool. Thanks. All right, check it. What have I done well with my hatching and cross-hatching? Hopefully, you thought to yourself, I can clearly see areas that are left open, empty, and white. That's my lightest value. Areas that are hatched with lines or cross-hatched in to add value. And hopefully you said, Miss Crum, your craftsmanship is beautiful. Nice, crisp, clean, and neat. No random little areas. There were some areas that I wanted to rush and I remembered stop, slow down, go somewhere else. Okay. Some things that I could probably work on. I think. You're probably thinking, there's way too much white value in the shell. I like how you did the spicy option of modeling. Look at that gradual changes from the empty white paper showing through and then gradually cross-hatching some more lines. Even there, see how dark I got it? I think I should probably do that in the shell too, right? So those are things that I want you to focus on. For this next loop, because you have like so much time left to work, either go for just the solid hatching and cross hatching, or not solid, but like very uniform, where everything looks like the same, or spicy option, start with the hatch marks and then cross them to create that gradual change from like your dark Sharpie outline to gray to white, back to gray to white. Could look really cool. Okay, my friends, we're gonna stop this video. You have the remainder of art class to hit two-thirds of the way done. I've already hit it and I've actually went above and beyond. That's totally cool too. 2/3 of the way done, cross-hatching, hatching, inking in your natural spiral. Alrighty? Okay. Good luck. Make me proud. Make yourself proud. Bye-bye. Keep on working.